I wanted to pop on here this morning, not to talk at length, but to respond to a topic that is cropping up quite often at the moment. It's something that lots of you seem to be increasingly aware of, and yet still have a lot of questions around it, and that is the subject of angel numbers or angelic numbers, reoccurring numbers, whatever it is that how you refer to them. So what I wanted to do initially was to start by looking at them, looking at potentially some of the reasons why we might be seeing them, and maybe how to interpret some of the messages that are being sent to you through these patterns of numbers. So first and foremost, angel numbers really can be anything they mean to you individually and to you as a person. And that again goes back to some of the sort of the vague messages that I give you in a lot of these videos. But, you know, so many people are asking about these numbers and never feel that they're given a clear explanation. And I suspect that in a lot of cases, that's because people don't know how to give you a clear explanation, because a lot of it is intuitive and instinctive for you. However, if you have ever experienced some form of synchronicity, or as it has previously been described, particularly by Carl Jung, as a meaningful coincidence, then you'll have an idea of what I'm trying to start off by saying to you. So to give you an example of synchronicity, it could be that you suddenly discovered that your car was running low on fuel, and you went and you sort of thought, oh, goodness me, you know, it's another expense I really didn't want to pay at the moment. But, you know, the petrol light's getting angry and flashing at you. So you think, well, do you know what? I'll go and I'll stick 20 quid in there. And you do that. I mean, let's be honest, 20 quid at the moment probably wouldn't get you off the forecourt, but with the price of fuel. But you understand what I'm saying. And then you sort of stand there in the queue and you stick your hand in your back pocket of your jeans or the inside pocket of your jacket or whatever. And suddenly you find a £20 note in there. That is synchronicity. That's a £20 note that you had probably put in there in the past, but you'd forgotten about it. You didn't realize it was there, and it suddenly appears as if by magic at the very moment you need it. And that's what we mean when we talk about synchronicity. Now, to some extent, it is the same with numbers or signs from the angel or the universe, source, however you want to whatever you want to base your connection on. They are basically signs that are there to really let you know that you're not alone, and that, you know, someone, spirit is with you. They're looking over you. They are with you, and they're wanting to let you know. And that's really the crux of what it is. Now, angelic numbers are frequently in a sequence, usually 3 or 4 numbers. Are what people tend to associate with. And they can be repetitive, or they're usually repetitive, to be honest with you. So 1111 or 1212. Now, whether it is a repetitive pattern of numbers or maybe you're constantly seeing a single number, how you interpret them will, to some extent, be personal to you. So, you know, you might see 123 that appears frequently on, I don't know, utility receipt, on the mile clock on your car, or, you know, maybe you're just consistently seeing a single digit number. Now, without going too deep into the history, you know, the fact is that numbers are ancient, they're meaningful, and they are extremely powerful. And they come up in basically pretty much every aspect of life in some form or another. Now, many of you are starting to understand the basics of numerology and the kind of information that we can get from these particular numbers, including things like your life path number, your soul urge, your relationship numbers, all of those different things that we can find out from numbers that are associated with the time of our birth. But angel numbers are different to this. Angel numbers are really sort of a different form of communication that is designed to offer you some kind of emotional response to it. And we refer to the fact that they come from an angelic source. Now, the very sort of foundational creation of these numbers was originally identified from the students of Pythagoras and Plato. And we sort of learn, and we understand that their learnings and their teachings, that numbers really had sort of a significant spiritual meaning to them as well. And many of you may have heard of perfect numbers, or perhaps the Platonic sacred geometry. Now, these are topics that we will probably cover in more detail in a different training. Because today, obviously, we want to talk about angelic numbers and the messages. And essentially, these messages vibrate with our higher selves, which is our authentic or our true state. Our spiritual self, our intuition, however you want to refer to it. Now, we frequently lose connection with our true being, our intuition, because our ego gets in the way and it impacts on our life. So you might see something and, the little voice in your head that sits on your shoulders, don't be silly, doesn't mean anything, ignore it. But if you are undergoing an awakening, a spiritual awakening that we've talked about on this channel, or if you're going through a massive change in your life, so getting married, moving house, ending a relationship, starting a new job, setting up a business, anything like that, then you may well find that certain numbers appear. And usually at times when you're feeling a little bit lost or a little bit anxious, a bit unsure, you want a bit of reassurance. And people generally at this stage start to see these recurring patterns, and it's usually something like 000 or 111 or 1111. Or it may, as I said, it may just be a single digit number. Now, with all of these, you can interpret things that are personal messages to you. But sometimes it's really good to have a bit of a foundation to know where to start with these particular numbers. I mean, you may sort of be familiar with some sort of historical references. The ancient Greeks, for example, believed in the 4 elements, and therefore number 4 had a deeply sort of meaningful vision, message for them. But the reality is that the meanings are not always the same for these numbers. There are some sort of generally recognized and understood meanings that we will cover. But in actual fact, what is just as important is what that means to you. Is it a number that was somebody's birthday? Is it a number that was a date that was really deeply symbolic and meaningful for you? Or if, for example, you keep seeing, I'll give you some examples from my perspective. If you see number 2, okay? If I see number 2, I think partnership. I think duality. I think material versus spiritual. It's how you relate to what is going on in your reality at that current moment in time. But what is really important here is that you don't agonize to try and make sense of what the message is. You really need to sort of just settle and try and make sense of the emotion that you feel or that you felt when you see those numbers. So is it fear? Is it excitement? Is it like an adrenaline shot that's making you think, yeah, you know what, that's a powerful message, I've got this. Whatever your initial reaction or feeling to those numbers are a really good indicator of what the message is trying to translate to you. By the same token, if you find that you feel really indifferent to that reoccurring number, they're kind of like, so what, it's that again, then chances are that particular message isn't actually meant for you. It's not being directed for you. It's just that you have come across or you've stumbled across a message that has been left for somebody else. So the reality is that not only are we seeing the message is drawing our center of attention and our focus to the fact that there is something for us, but it is the feeling that we experience that is the sat nav, if you like, that guides us to the message that we need to interpret, which is why I say your own interpretation is just as important as the ones that you'll find in the guidebooks. The feeling is personal to you. And those of you that have followed me for a while know that I'm a huge advocate of journaling. And I feel that journaling is a great place to make a note of numbers that you see and the situations that you see them in, and also the frequency that they reoccur. Note how it made you feel, and maybe note some of the things that happened after that followed on. And you will start to pin together bits and pieces that start to sort of flesh out a story for you. Now, angelic numbers are fluid. They are not linked to your birth number as they are in numerology that we referred to a little while ago. But they only last for a certain period of time, and the time when it is most important to you. So, you might see that 11:11 on the clock every day for a week, and then suddenly you don't see it again at all. And that's fine, because that message has been relayed to you. Also think about where you're seeing these numbers. Are they on car registration plates? Are they on till receipts? Are they the clock? Or heaven forbid, the dreaded gas or electricity bill that everyone seems to be living in fear of at the moment. You will just glance at something. Maybe it's your phone. You glance at your phone and you see, it's 11:11. I've been seeing that a lot of the content I'm recording has specific times that my videos are lasting for certain durations. And that's something that isn't planned. It's not premeditated, but it's the same numbers that are reoccurring. And then I interpret that as messages for me, as things that I need to be mindful of and be aware of. It could be that you wake up at the same time every night and the clock reads a specific time, 3:33 in the morning or 4:44 or, things like that. Bus numbers, house numbers, anything, the numbers that are associated with your tarot cards or page numbers in a book. When you flick through a magazine or a book and you always open on the same page number, they literally can be anywhere. Okay, I could pull out hundreds of examples for you here right now. But it is the synchronicity and the repetitive nature of these numbers that really needs to hold your attention and really for you to give a little bit of consideration to, and to work out how they relate to you and what your individual messages coming from the angelic source really is. Now, I could sit here for hours and give you examples because there are so many different things that we can look at. But what I thought I would do for now is just give you a few quick examples in this video. And then somewhere beneath this video, there will be a link which you can click on, and you will, if you pop your email address in, we can send you a free PDF which will give you some more information, a bit more detail on some of the most common numbers that we feel people are asking about and searching for. But to give you a few just for now, if you see 000, then for me that represents fresh opportunities or a new start. It's a good time to start a new business. 111 or 1111 is a really, really powerful sign that the angels are with you and they're giving you the green light. They're saying to you, keep going. You are absolutely on the right path to manifesting the things that you are desiring, and that the universe is looking on you favorably to, to help you bring about whatever it is that you've been working towards or looking to bring into your reality. 222 is all about balance, and it's sort of asking you to consider reaching out to a trusted companion or doing something in a slightly different way that brings about companionship. So you may go and indulge in a new hobby or go into an environment that's going to bring new people into your life. 333. You can see I'm going through a pattern here. That's all about prayers being answered, and to really, it's asking you to keep the faith, keep holding on, keep believing, because the answers that you are seeking are coming. Okay, they're on their way to you, and that again is a really encouraging sign. Now, 3 as a single number is also extremely useful, and it's incredibly powerful. And obviously, I've been talking about repetitive numbers, but number 3 on its own is incredibly powerful. And that, for me, represents mind, body, and spirit, or Father, Son, and Holy Ghost. It can be maiden, mother, and crone, if we're looking in the sort of the Wicca side of things. It is, it's the 3 sides of a triangle, which is of a pyramid, the strongest, most resilient shape that anybody can work with and deal with. It is it's all about balance. It's the strongest structure you can ask for. So if you are working particularly in business or a relationship or something like that, and you repeatedly see number 3, that's a really, really good sign. Couple more, because as I said, there's going to be a free PDF that you can download later. But if you see 666, now that's an extremely interesting number set, because as the Bible has taught us, 666 is actually a number that we would generally fear, as it was resembling the devil and its demonic association, sort of evil spirits and things like that. And people generally, if they see that number, still sort of have a bit of a sensation of fear or a little bit of anxiety around it. But it also means be good to yourself. Okay, so from an angelic form, it's saying, remember, be good to yourself, give yourself the time that you need, and just, be kind, and go sit and read a book, or take a walk, or whatever it is that's going to be good for you. But over and above, the main resounding message with this is it's how you personally interpret these numbers and how you feel about these numbers when you see them that really is going to be the most telling thing that you can work with. With patterns of numbers, they also have considerable significance on your life, but again, it is how you feel and how you interpret them that is going to really deliver you the meanings that you want. A couple of other quick other numbers, just because I think it's a lovely one to touch. 1212. The thing that you often hear when somebody is testing microphone, 1212 testing, can you hear me? That actually is a number that tells you that your guardian angel is helping and supporting you. So 1212, can you hear me? Yes, they can. Your angel is saying, hey, I'm here. I'm here, and I'm with you, and I'm holding your hand, and I'm guiding you. 1111 is a clear sign that you are on the right path, on the right journey for whatever it is that you are working towards. Now, it can also mean a twin flame is close, or it's asking you to recognize that your guardian, whether that be an angel or an animal or whatever it is that you associate with, that source of energy is close by, and they're wanting you to feel reassured and comforted by that. So really, I'm kind of, drawing to the end of this video, but whatever the numbers are that you are seeing, ultimately, you need to see it as a sign of support from the angels. They're telling you, we're here. We don't see them, or most of us don't see them, and certainly not in the sort of the clear pictorial sense that, you might see in the movies or the cartoons or whatever. But the angels are telling us that they're here and the universe has your back. Now, more often than not, it is a sign of their validation and their support. It is encouragement. They're telling you, keep going, you're doing really well. And like I say, you don't see these numbers day in, day out throughout your entire life, or most of us don't anyway. You see them at times when you need them most. And when you respond and you adjust what you're doing, so you do more of the same, or you change in accordance with the message that you're doing to get you on the right path, then these numbers may well just sort of disappear just as quickly as they came into your life. And that's absolutely fine, because you have learned, or you've understood the message that has been sent for you. So over and above, trust your feelings and your intuition, and really sort of embrace these numbers, take the time to interpret them. And when you see them, just know that they are being sent to you with the greatest of affection. So just take a moment and smile, and just recognize that you are really not alone. Now, as I said, there is going to be a PDF loaded somewhere beneath this video that you can click on and give us your email address, and we will email you with a list of the most common numbers that you might sort of find in your life. But it isn't about saying this is absolutely set in stone. It's just to get you started. And then, play with it, see what it means to you, and just enjoy those beautiful messages that are being sent to you for a very special reason.